Good evening. The Prime Minister has blasted the City of Yarra Council after it voted to scrap official Australia Day activities. The Council's decision came after an impassioned meeting at Town Hall, but late today the federal government hit back with a bold move of its own. Brett McLeod explains.
To many, it's a day of celebration, but no longer in one council. The proposal to axe Australia Day ceremonies was hotly debated at last night's Yarra Council meeting.
Absolutely offensive that you come up with these harebrained schemes.
It is making the City of Yarra look like imbeciles.
But members of the Aboriginal community spoke in favour of the motion.
There is no reason for us to celebrate.
In the end, the councillors voted unanimously. Yarra, the first council in the country to ban any reference to January 26 being Australia Day and scrapping citizenship ceremonies on that day. The Mayor says she's received much positive feedback.
And they're really appreciative of it. Some people have been quite emotional, in fact, and say it's long overdue.
The Prime Minister launched his response in Parliament.
The decision recently of the Yarra Council is utterly out of step with Australian values. They are seeking to take a day which unites Australia and turn it into one which divides us.
While not backing Yarra Council, the first Aboriginal woman to serve in the House of Representatives welcomes the discussion.
That doesn't mean the 26th of January should disappear. I don't agree with that. I just think there needs to be recognition that there are different beliefs.
The federal government is still dangling one threat over the Yarra Council, warning that by scrapping reference to Australia Day, it could lose the right to host any citizenship ceremonies. And late this afternoon, that's what's happened. The federal government banning Yarra Council from holding any citizenship ceremonies. They'll now be carried out inside council boundaries by Border Protection, including on Australia Day next year. Brett McLeod, 9 News.
Yarra Council has been stripped of the right to hold citizenship ceremonies following outrage over its decision to scrap Australia Day celebrations. Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull led the criticism, calling it a deeply disappointing attempt to divide the country.
Yarra Council is the first in the nation to implement such sweeping changes to Australia Day.
All those in favour?
It says January 26th isn't a day of celebration for the local Aboriginal community.
Persisting with that date as a date of a national celebration of our national identity is actually quite a divisive date.
They've voted in favour of 13 changes, including ceasing reference to the date as Australia Day, as well as no longer holding citizenship ceremonies on that day and officially supporting the Change the Date campaign. The Prime Minister is among many who've slammed the move as dividing the country.
The decision recently of the Yarra Council is utterly out of step with Australian values.
And late this afternoon, the federal government acted. It stripped the council of its power to hold citizenship ceremonies. Both major parties have rejected any suggestion the date should be changed.
Now, I do not support changing the date of Australia Day.
Australia Day should be held on the day of Federation when the first Australian Parliament met.
I'm really not that fussed about it. If people are offended by it, then that's absolutely fine. We can celebrate on another day.
The council's changes will come into effect as of next year, where it will refer to Australia Day as January 26th, but councillors and their staff will take the day as a public holiday.
Public holidays are determined by state and federal governments, so it will continue to be a public holiday, a national public holiday.
Emily Angwin, 7 News.